Welcome all my of segregated primary school. That's our weekly time for science, and today we will start unit 3, which is a new unit that deal with atmospheric air or atmosphere or the gases which we live in. So again, I remind you بفكركم تاني, we have studied up till now 2 units which are Unit 1, which is mass and weight, and in this unit we have known everything about mass and also everything about weight. We have known what's meant by mass, the measuring tools, the measuring unit of mass, and also we have studied the measurement unit of weight and the measuring tools of weight, and also what's meant by weight, and also we have differentiated فرقنا ما بين الماس and weight. And in Unit 2 we have studied 2 lessons, which are Lesson 1, heat conduction أو توصيل الحرارة, and also in this lesson we have studied many information about what are the good conductors and what are the bad conductors. Also we have studied Unit 2, which deal with the measuring temperature or the thermometer, the interesting device that is used to measure the temperature. So again, today you will start a new unit that deal with a new topic, a new lessons or a new lesson, which is atmospheric air or atmospheric gases. And I'm sure all of you know what are the gases which are found in the atmosphere. There are many gases such as nitrogen gas, oxygen gas, and also carbon dioxide gas. So again, today we will start our first lesson with the most important gas, أهم غاز في الهواء, which is the oxygen gas, which we respire for living, or which we use in respiration for living. So let's start this unit with the first lesson of this unit, which is the oxygen gas. So today we will start with the oxygen gas أو غاز الأكسجين. So let's start this lesson with the first information, which is that Earth is surrounded by a mixture of gases called atmosphere. احنا عارفين كويس قوي الأرض محاطة بخليط من الغازات بنسميه atmosphere or atmospheric air. Again, Earth is surrounded by a mixture of gases called atmosphere or atmospheric air. Another information about the atmospheric air. Atmospheric air is attracted to the Earth by gravity. So again, atmospheric air is attracted to the Earth by gravity. So every day we will find atmosphere, we will find oxygen. كل يوم بنلاقي أكسجين ما بيخلصش حوالينا already في هواء, because atmospheric air is attracted to the Earth by gravity. atmosphere أو atmospheric air موجود عن طريق الجاذبية, ما بيسيبش الأرض أبدا. So again, atmospheric air is attracted to the Earth by gravity. Another information. There are large quantities of solid objects in the atmosphere, such as dust, smoke, gases. We know that atmosphere is or consists of gases, but there are solid objects. في حاجات صلبة في الهواء زي الدست, التراب, smoke, الدخان, and also there are gases. So those dust or smoke or those solid particles are called pollutants. هنسميهم ملوثات. Again, those particles are called pollutants, but although those particles are pollutants, بالرغم ان هي ملوثات, they help in condensation of water vapor that causes rain or snow. Again, although those particles are pollutants, they help in condensation of water vapor that causes rain or snow. بالرغم ان هي ملوثات لكن بتفيدنا في عمليه مهمه جدا, في عمليه تكثف بخار الميه اللي بتسبب الرين, الامطار, او snow, الجليد او الثلج في الدول البارده. Again, although those particles which are dust and smoke are pollutants, برغم ان هي ملوثات, I'm sorry, they help in condensation of water vapor that causes rain or snow. Another information, importance of the atmosphere. We know that atmosphere is very important for the Earth. So what we can say many important, ممكن هنا أكتب أكتر من أهمية للأتموسفير. For example, I can write atmosphere is very important in respiration by oxygen gas. Atmosphere is very important in photosynthesis process by carbon dioxide gas, which is a plant use. عارفين كويس قوي النبات بيستخدم غاز مهم جدا في الاتموسفير اسمه carbon dioxide, which is used in photosynthesis process. Also we use all the living organism, كل الكائنات الحية, even if the plant, حتى البلانت itself, use oxygen gas in respiration process. بيستخدم غاز الأكسجين في عملية التنفس. And also we can say atmosphere adjusts the temperature, بيحافظ على درجة الحرارة أو بيظبطها. We can write many importance of atmosphere as you like. So let us summarize the importance of atmosphere in 2 points only, which are, هنكتب بس نقطتين بس. Number 1, it protects the Earth by absorbing the ultraviolet radiation coming from outer space. الكلمة الغريبة ديت أول مرة نسمعها. ultraviolet معناها أشعة فوق بنفسجية. يعني إيه؟ هي أشعة بتيجي من outer space أو من الصن وهي أشعة ضارة جدا، لكن الأتموسفير ما بيسمحلهاش تدخل الأرض. عشان كده بنقول الأتموسفير protected the earth، بيحمي الأرض by absorbing ultraviolet radiation، إنه بيمتص الأشعة دي. For example, if there is no atmosphere, the ultraviolet radiation can go to the earth or can penetrate the earth's atmosphere or the earth's pressure, so it will cause many diseases such as cancer. يعني ربنا بيحمينا بالأتموسفير، عشان كده بوجود الاتموسفير، لانه اوريدي في طبقه هنعرف التفصيل عنها ان شاء الله في بريب 2 اسمها اوزون لاير. يبقى الاتموسفير في طبقه موجوده مهمه قوي فيه اسمها اوزون لاير، طبقه الاوزون which protect the earth from the harmful radiation which are called ultraviolet. again في اشعه ضاره جدا جايه من الشمس اسمها ultraviolet، ودي بتحمينا منها طبقه مهمه جدا في الاتموسفير اسمها اوزون لاير او اوزون جاس، نفس التركيب تقريبا. اوزون جاس هو اسمه O3، يعني بيكون من 3 atom of oxygen gas and we will study it in details ان شاء الله بالتفاصيل in preparatory 2 او secondary preparatory ان شاء الله في الصف الثاني الاعدادي. Also atmosphere adjusts the temperature of the earth's surface. again atmosphere adjusts يعني بيظبط temperature of the earth's surface، درجة حرارة الأرض. why? Because we know the air is a bad conductor. الهواء موصل رديء للحرارة. So it absorbs large amount of heat from the sun and passes to us very little amount. يعني بيمتص كمية كبيرة جدا من الحرارة من الشمس، بيوصل لنا كمية صغيرة جدا، عشان كده ما بنحسش بحرارة الشمس. So again it adjusts the temperature of the earth's surface and it passes to us very little amount of the atmosphere of the temperature. Sorry. So someone can say to me، واحد يقول لي طب ما اوريدي الجو في الصيف حر جدا، يبقى كده already the temperature of the sun can pass to the earth. يبقى الاتموسفير او الاير good conductor. Imagine that there is the sun, okay, and the temperature of the sun is 6000 Celsius at the surface. حرارة الشمس تقريبا على السطح تقريبا 6000 أو 6000 Celsius. But in the earth there is atmosphere. Is the earth atmosphere. So how many or what is the temperature or how much temperature can pass to the earth? I think it will be 40 for example Celsius or 50 to a great extent, or in very hot days. In very hot days الحرارة تبقى تقريبا مش أكتر من 40. So it will be bad conductor. يبقى الاير هنا هعتبره او الاتموسفيريك اير هعتبره bad conductor لانه مش بيوصل كل الحراره او بيوصل كميه صغيره جدا منها. bad conductor of it. So again air is a bad conductor or atmospheric air is a bad conductor because it passes very little amount of heat. كميه صغيره جدا من الحراره from the sun. So again it adjusts the temperature of the atmosphere or adjusts the temperature of the earth's surface. Another information about what's meant by atmosphere. مهم قوي اعرف اكتب زي definition. وقلنا اكتر من مره بنحب قوي الطالب الكرييتيف، الطالب المبدع يكتب definition من دماغه مش حافظه. يعني ايه atmosphere؟ I can say it's a mixture of gases surrounding the earth. full stop. تعريف صغير جدا وسهل جدا. It's a mixture of gases surrounding the earth. هو خليط من الغازات يحيط بالارض. Again atmosphere it's a mixture of gases surrounding the earth. Another information about the atmosphere. What are the gases that form the atmosphere? ايه هي بقى الجاس الموجوده جوه الاتموسفير او الموجوده جوه الغلاف الجوي. We know from our previous study in primary 4 درسنا في primary 4 there are many gases such as nitrogen gas, oxygen gas, carbon dioxide gas and other gases such as water vapor, argon, neon, helium and so on. So what about each gas of them? What about each one of them? Oxygen gas we know it's about 21%. عارفين كويس قوي الاكسجين جاز زي ما درسنا في برايمري 4 هو تقريبا 21% of the air volume. هو تقريبا خمس حجم الهواء او 21% بالظبط. What about nitrogen gas? It's about 78%. It's about again 78% or 4/5. What about carbon dioxide and the other gases? All of them are very small ratio نسبة صغيرة جدا which equal 1% only. So what about carbon dioxide itself, carbon dioxide alone? It will be 0.03%. So again, let me summarize them in another table. هنلخصهم بجدول تاني. We know that we have nitrogen gas, نكتب مع بعض. Nitrogen, oxygen, which we'll study today. إن شاء الله النهارده هنركز قوي على oxygen gas. Carbon dioxide gas and other gases which are water vapor and other gases. Okay, so what about nitrogen gas? We know that nitrogen gas is about 4/5 or 78%. Okay, that's the last gas we will study this year. إن شاء الله آخر gas هندرسه هو nitrogen gas in the lesson 3 of unit 3. Oxygen gas, which we will study today, is about 1/5 or 21%. What about carbon dioxide gas? 0.03%. Carbon dioxide only لوحده هو 0.03%. وبليز لازم اكتب 0.03. If one writes 0.3%, it will be wrong. Again, carbon dioxide gas will be 0.03%. So what about water vapor and other gases? They will be 0.97%. Again, they will be 0.97%. So the most abundant gas, أكتر غاز متوفر، أكتر غاز موجود في الهواء, it will be nitrogen gas because it occupies about 78%. Again, it occupies about 78%. So what about oxygen gas? It's the second gas, هو الغاز التاني تقريبا. What about the least gas? It will be the carbon dioxide gas. It occupies about 0.03%. Again, it occupies about 0.03%. So what about the other gases, which are water vapor and other gases? They will be 0.97%. 0.97%. So how can we measure the volume of gas? أكيد دلوقتي حد بيسأل إزاي عرفنا إن الأكسجين 21% النيتروجين 78% and how come؟ ازاي عرفنا كل الجاس تقريبا النسبه دي؟ هل عدينا كل الجاس اللي في الهواء قعدنا نقول كده 1 2 3 4 5 6؟ No, it doesn't matter. But how can we measure the gases? We can measure the oxygen gas or the volume of the oxygen gas by a very interesting and intelligent experiment at the same time. تجربه سهله جدا وذكيه جدا وممتعه جدا في نفس الوقت. نعملها مع بعض دلوقتي ونشوفها in a very short video to show what is the percentage of the gas or the oxygen gas. Look here, I have what? I have a candle. Okay, I have a candle here. This candle is lighted and is found in a basin of water. هنا بستخدم candle مشتعلة lighted in a basin of water في بسين في مية أو في حوض في مية basin of water أو piscine زي ما بنسميها بالفرنش. And I will invert a cylinder over it. هقلب عليها أو أحط عليها cylinder مقلوبة inverted. Why? Or what happened, or what can I observe? هلاحظ ايه؟ I will observe two things. The flame of the candle لهب الشمعة will gets lower or will gets weaker. هيبدأ يقل till it turns off or till it turns out لغاية ما يطفي تماما. And what else? The level of the water مستوى المية will raise. Why? Because the candle burning consumed استهلكت all the oxygen gas in the cylinder. So what happened in the volume inside? The volume inside will decrease. So what happened? So the water will raise to compensate this decrease. شوف مع بعض. What happened here? The candle flame will gets weaker at first. هيضعف الأول and it will turn off after a while. So what happened to the water level? Water level will raise. هيرتفع. ليه؟ عشان يعوض what happened or what is decreased from the oxygen gas in the air. Or in the air inside the cylinder. Look here, the candle gets weaker, and after a while it will turn off. What happened to water? The water level will raise. Will raise what? Because the air inside the cylinder is decreased. يعني الهواء اللي جوه السلندر نقص. Why? Because because the burning of the candle consumed all the oxygen gas. يعني الاشتعال اللهب الشمعة بيستهلك كل الأكسجين الموجود جوه السلندر فبالتالي الهواء بيقل. So the water level raised. Look here, the water level raised from here to this level. Why? Because the oxygen gas which is decreased, الأكسجين gas اللي هو استهلك تماما هنا بيساوي تقريبا 1/5 of the air volume or 21%. يبقى لو قسنا الديستانس ديت from the water level here to the new level it will be 1 and all this distance it will be 5. So it will be 1/5 of the air volume. So again we can say that oxygen occupies 1/5 of the air volume because we know that oxygen gas occupies 1/5 of the air volume because the candle burning consumed all the oxygen gas inside the cylinder. So again, let me explain this experiment practically on the paper, okay? Imagine that I have a cylinder Okay, I have a basin of water like this. Okay, and this candle is burning. We know that which gas which is used in burning. We know that oxygen gas is used in burning. عارفين كويس قوي ان الاكسجين gas هو اللي بيستخدم في burning. So this burning candle needs what? Needs oxygen gas. Okay, so what happened if I invert a cylinder like this or a cup, long cup. ممكن استخدم كوباية ازاز بس تكون طويلة شوية. What happened? The candle will consume all the oxygen gas in the air inside cylinder. So what happened to the air here? It will decrease. Air here will decrease. الهواء هيقل أو حجمه هيقل. So what happened to the air again? It will decrease. So what happened to the air to the volume or to the level of the water? The volume of the water will increase to compensate the decrease in oxygen gas or in the air gas. يعني المية بتعوض النقص اللي بالأكسجين بتطلع فوق. So if I measure this distance to all the distance of the cup, it will be 1/5. It will be what? 1/5. So I can say that oxygen occupies 1/5. Oxygen again, oxygen occupies 1/5 of air volume, or 21%. Again, we can write 1/5 without percent or 21%. So again, we can say oxygen gas occupies 21% or 1/5 of the air volume by this intelligent and easy, interesting experiment at the same time. So now let's return back to the lesson of oxygen gas and summarize all the percentages of the gases which we will study this year, inshallah. So again, oxygen gas will be 21%, nitrogen gas will be 78%. So what about carbon dioxide gas and all the other gases which are water vapor, neon, helium, argon, and so on, all of them will be 1%. So now, activity to conclude the percentage of oxygen gas in the air, as I said, we conclude that from this activity, oxygen gas occupies 1/5 or 21% of the air volume. تجربة عملناها مهمة جدا وسهلة جدا عشان نثبت بيها ان الاكسجين gas فعلا 1/5 of the air volume. Look here, water level here raises or raised. Why? Because the air inside the cylinder decreased because the candle consumed all the oxygen gas inside the cylinder, and so water compensates the decrease of oxygen gas. So we can say oxygen gas, many information about it. Oxygen gas, as we know, exists in the atmosphere in a gas state. احنا عارفين كويس قوي هو موجود في الحالة الغازية في الغلاف الجوي because we can say it's oxygen gas. معلومة سهلة جدا، هو اسمه oxygen gas يبقى already موجود in a gas state. Another information, oxygen gas is essential for all animals and the plants life. مهم جدا، ضروري جدا لحياة كل كائنات الحياة. All living organisms in a very important process which is respiration process. Respiration process depends on oxygen gas for all animals and the plants life. Again, oxygen gas molecule. Molecule كلمة أول مرة نسمعها معناها الجزيء. يعني إيه الجزيء؟ It is the smallest building unit of matter. كأنه بالظبط هو السيل اللي في جسم الإنسان. يعني the living organism consists of cells، بيكون من cells. matter consists of molecules. يبقى جزيء يعني أصغر جزء في المادة. Molecule consists of 2 atoms of oxygen gas. يعني جزيء الأكسجين بيتكون من 2 atoms. 2 atoms يعني ذرتين. إن شاء الله in prep 1 السنة الجاية هندرس بالتفصيل. عندنا موضوع حلو قوي عن المولكيولز والاتوم هنتكلم عنه ان شاء الله بالتفصيل. So again, oxygen gas molecule consists of 2 atoms of oxygen gas. عشان كده دايما بنسميه O2. يعني O2 هو بيتكون من 2 atoms يعني بيتكون من ذرتين. Again, oxygen gas molecule consists of 2 atoms of oxygen gas. Another information about oxygen gas, oxygen ratio is constant although it's consumed in respiration and burning process. نسبة الأكسجين ثابتة بالرغم إنها بتستهلك كل يوم وكل لحظة وكل دقيقة في التنفس respiration وكمان burning process. So how it come؟ إزاي الأكسجين ما بيخلص؟ يعني ممكن حد يسألني السؤال ده. How come oxygen percentage or oxygen ratio is stable or is fixed in the atmosphere؟ ليه ما بيخلصش؟ الناس كتيرة جدا وكلنا بنستهلك أكسجين. How come or how can oxygen percentage can be stable؟ إزاي تبقى نسبة ثابتة؟ Because God created many useful organisms، في كائنات مهمة جدا مفيدة جدا بالنسبة لنا which are called the green trees or the green plants. The green plants also produce oxygen gas in a very important process which is photosynthesis process. النبات الأخضر اللي حوالينا مهم جدا، كائن مهم قوي بالنسبة لنا. ليه؟ لأنه بينتج لي oxygen gas في عملية مهمة قوي اسمها photosynthesis process. So if I have question here with give reason, let me write this question. Imagine that the question says give reason. Oxygen ratio نسبة الأكسجين which is 21% is constant. ليه هي ثابتة؟ is constant although بالرغم من although it's consumed بتستهلك it's consumed in respiration or burning أو حتى كمان الاشتعال بيحتاج oxygen gas burning processes. So the answer will be very simply and easy because green plants produce oxygen gas. هما بينتجوا oxygen gas in photosynthesis process. عملية مهمة قوي درسناها قبل كده أكتر مرة في برايمري 4 وبرايمري 5. عملية البناء الضوئي عملية مهمة جدا، البلانت بينتج بيها oxygen gas. عشان كده البلانت شيء مهم جدا في حياتنا. Please we must take care of plants لأن نهتم بيه جدا. We must increase the green areas. لازم كمان نزود المناطق الخضراء أو الأشجار أو الجاردنز الحدائق because they are very important because they produce oxygen gas in photosynthesis process. عشان كده هنا بقى في confusion مهمة قوي، في حاجة بتلخبط قوي. طب هو البلانت respire oxygen gas ولا carbon dioxide gas؟ ما دام قلت respire بيتنفس يبقى surely oxygen gas. sure أي respiration في المان في الانيمال في البلانت oxygen gas. So what about carbon dioxide؟ carbon dioxide ده بيستخدم بس في عملية اسمها photosynthesis process. عشان كده هنلخص كل اللي قلته in this very simple diagram. Imagine that there is a tree like this. Okay, this tree or this green plant use what? Use oxygen gas like man in respiration process. Okay, use oxygen gas in respiration process and also produce carbon dioxide gas in respiration process. زي الإنسان بالضبط. يبقى البلانت طول 24 ساعة all the day long طول اليوم بيتنفس زينا بالضبط. بيستهلك أو consume oxygen gas and produce carbon dioxide gas all the day long in respiration process like all the living organisms such as man, such as animal and so on. So what about photosynthesis process? طب عملية photosynthesis process I can write this here photosynthesis process. The plant here use carbon dioxide gas and produce oxygen gas. It's vice versa or it's opposite to the respiration process. هي عكس تماما respiration process لكن it occurs only بتحصل بس during the daylight أثناء النهار بس. طب ما كده البلانت بالليل مش مفيد. لا اوريدي هو أنتج كمية أكسجين بالنهار تقضيه أثناء النهار والليل وتقضي كمان كل الليفينج أورجانيزم اللي حواليه. عشان كده بنعتبر البلانت اسمه مهم قوي أخدناه في برايمري 4 producer. يعني ايه producer؟ يعني كائن منتج يعرف ينتج الاكسجين جاس وكمان ينتج الفود بتاعه with very simple material بمواد بسيطه جدا such as carbon dioxide, water and sunlight and also the mineral salts which is found in the soil. So again we must differentiate. لازم كويس افرق قوي بين photosynthesis process البناء الضوئي and respiration process. Photosynthesis process, in this process the plant taken carbon dioxide gas and give out oxygen gas during the daylight only أثناء بس النهار. لكن طول اليوم أثناء النهار والليل already the plant taken oxygen gas and produce carbon dioxide gas in respiration process like any living organism زي أي كائن حي ما بيتنفس بالظبط. So now we can answer this question. Give reason. The oxygen gas ratio is constant although it's consumed in respiration and burning process by this very simple answer because it's compensated لأنها بتتعوض in photosynthesis process by green plant. ممكن أقول إنها compensated يعني تتعوض by photosynthesis process by green plant. So another information about oxygen gas. Green plant we can consider them ممكن أعتبرهم the main source of oxygen. هم المصدر الرئيسي للأكسجين as it produced during photosynthesis process. Again, green plants are the main source of oxygen. هم المصدر الرئيسي للأكسجين as it's produced during photosynthesis process. Also, we can say in photosynthesis process what happened? The plant takes carbon dioxide gas from air, water and the mineral salts from the soil and also in the presence of photovoltaic. كلمة أول مرة أسمعها، يعني sunlight، ضوء الشمس. عارفين كويس قوي إن البلانت بيحتاج 4 things. What are they? Carbon dioxide gas from air, water and the salts from soil, دول number 2. Sunlight أو photovoltaic in the presence of chlorophyll، المادة الخضراء اللي جوه البلانت، to produce what? To produce oxygen gas and nutrients. So I can make a very simple equation. ممكن نعمل معادلة تلخص كل اللي بيحصل في photosynthesis process by that, by writing what the plant need and what the plant produce. النبات بيحتاج ايه وبينتج ايه. We can write this. The plant need what? Need water plus carbon dioxide in the presence of what? In the presence of sunlight. ضوء الشمس مهم جدا للphotosynthesis process because it occurs only، بتحصل فقط during the daylight, during the morning, and also in the presence of chlorophyll. chlorophyll المادة الخضراء اللي already جوه النبات، جوه أوراق النبات أو أي أجزاء خضراء، chlorophyll. And the plant will produce 2 important things. I think or I'm sure those 2 things are the most important thing. بينتج أهم حاجتين في الدنيا هما food or nutrients plus oxygen gas. Again, the plant will produce food and oxygen gas in the process of photosynthesis process. Photosynthesis process. And again, I repeat. بكرر تاني. It occurs only in the presence of sunlight because it needs sunlight for making this process. So again, the plant is a very important organism. So please keep the plant alive. Please save all the plant around you, and if it's possible, you can increase the plant surrounding you, or you can save or protect them from cutting, from breaking. Please don't cut all the plants that near you, because they are very important to you and to everyone in the world, because they produce oxygen gas to keep the world alive. So now, another information which is very interesting information to how to prepare oxygen gas in the lab. يعني ممكن نحضر الاكسجين gas in the lab. already هو gas موجود في الهواء، لكن هل ممكن نحضر oxygen gas? Surely I can prepare oxygen gas by a very simple tools، بأدوات بسيطة جدا، and very simple chemicals، مواد كيميائية بسيطة جدا، which I'm sure are found in all the schools or the labs of your school. So again, here we will see a very short video to see how to prepare oxygen gas. So I can prepare oxygen gas from a very important and simple and easy material which is found at the pharmacy. فيها مادة مهمة جدا موجودة في الصيدليات، هي اللي أقدر أحضر منها oxygen gas. This material is called what? It's called hydrogen peroxide. Again, hydrogen peroxide or oxygen water. مادة هنسميها hydrogen peroxide أو oxygen water، يعني مية الأكسجين. ولكن أكيد سمعنا عنها قبل كده أكتر من مرة. ممكن استخدمناها في بعض الاسترلايزيشن تطهيرات أو استخدامات كيماوية معينة في البيت زي صبغة أو حاجة زي كده. So again, we can use hydrogen peroxide مية أكسجين or oxygen water to produce oxygen gas. Why this substance itself? ليه المادة دي بالذات؟ Because this substance is called what? It's called hydrogen peroxide or oxygen water. So it contains 2 materials at least, which are oxygen and water. So if I decompose، لو حللتها، لو فكتها، هيديني oxygen and water. So again, this substance is called what? Oxygen water. مادة اسمها مية الأكسجين، لو فكتها هيديني ميه واكسجين، يبقى انا كده حضرت الاكسجين gas. So how can I prepare this oxygen gas in a very simple tool? Let me draw the experiment, and after that we will see a short video about how to prepare oxygen gas in the lab. Okay, here I will have a flask يعني دورق. Okay, flask كده دورق زجاجي، اكيد شفناه في المعمل اكتر من مره. This flask will be closed by a stopper، هنقفله بسداده that has two opening، ليها فتحتين. From one of its opening I will have a funnel. من أحد الفتحتين دول هستخدم funnel يعني قمع. And from the other opening I will use a tube like this. U-shaped tube، يعني tube على شكل حرف U تقريبا. Okay. From the first opening with the funnel، في الفانل هنا هستخدم مادة اسمها hydrogen peroxide which is a very easy solution. هو محلول liquid شبه الميه بالظبط فعلا، عشان كده اسمه oxygen water. So I will call it oxygen water, or the chemical name is هيدروجين بيروكسيد. يبقى دي اسمين ممكن اسميه oxygen water او hydrogen peroxide. oxygen water او hydrogen peroxide. So if this solution fall to the bottom of the flask it will decompose. decompose يعني ايه؟ هيتحلل يديني two substances which are مادتين هما oxygen and water. But this experiment will take a very long time. How can I increase this experiment? ازاي اسرع التجربة؟ I can use a very important material which is the catalyst. هستخدم مادة مهمة قوي هنسميها catalyst يعني عامل حفاز. يعني ايه عامل حفاز؟ It's a substance that increase the reaction without being changed itself. هي مادة بتشجع التفاعل، بتسرع التفاعل بس لكن هي نفسها ما بتتغيرش. طب ايه اللي هيحصل؟ مادة هنسميها منجنيز دايوكسيد باودر. هي مادة لونها باودر او باودر لونه اسود هنسميها manganese manganese dioxide powder. So again, manganese dioxide powder is a very important material that is used in preparing oxygen gas because it's a very important substance that increase the reaction. هي دورها بس انها بتزود الرياكشن لكن مش بتخش في الرياكشن شخصيا. يعني هي ماده زي ما بتخش زي ما بتخرج بالظبط. Already الكاتاليست او manganese dioxide powder increase the reaction without being changed. بدون ما هي نفسها تتغير. So what happened here? The hydrogen peroxide will decompose into oxygen gas and water. So water will still here ما هتفضل هنا and oxygen gas will go up and go to this tube. So how can I collect oxygen gas? ازاي نجمع الاكسجين جاز؟ سألنا كده علماء الكيمستري قالوا لنا في معلومة مهمة جدا في الاكسجين جاز ان هو scarcely dissolves in water. نادرا ما بيدوب في الماء. So I can collect oxygen gas by a very intelligent طريقة ذكية جدا way, very intelligent way like this. I will have a basin of water يعني حوض مليان مية and inverted tube مقلوبة in this basin which is full of water برضه مليانة مية. So what happened here? If oxygen gas passes from here to the water it will replace water downward. يعني هيعمل ايه؟ الاكسجين مش بيحب المية خالص ما بيدوبش فيها تماما تقريبا يعني. طب ايه اللي هيحصل؟ هو هيعمل داون ديسبيسمنت للوتر ازاحه سفليه للميه. يعني كانه هيزق الميه لتحت او هيدفع الميه لتحت اب سوري لغايه ما كل الميه تنزل تحت. So I will have this tube or this inverted tube full with oxygen. So now we'll see a very important short video about how to prepare oxygen gas from hydrogen peroxide or from oxygen water by the using of manganese dioxide powder and we will see that oxygen gas here هنا هيكون هو الاكسجين جاز هو اللي هيعمل عمليه مهمه جدا هيعمل downward displacement of water. So now let us see a very important video about how to prepare oxygen gas in a very simple way, a very easy way and intelligent at the same time from decomposition يعني تحلل ماده مهمه قوي هنسميها hydrogen peroxide in the presence of وجود ماده مهمه ثانيه اسمها manganese dioxide powder which is used as a catalyst. بستخدمها كانها عامل حفاز عامل مساعد بيسرع التفاعل بس لكن مش بيدخل التفاعل او بيطلع من التفاعل زي ما دخل بالظبط. انا بشبهها بالظبط الكاتاليست ده كانه فانز كانهم مشجعين ماتش كوره. هم دخلوا الماتش فانز مشجعين وخرجوا برضو فانز مشجعين. So now let us see this very important video about how to prepare oxygen gas. Let us see this short video. Look here, I have a flask. Okay, this flask is filled with hydrogen peroxide. I'm sorry, there is problem with this video. So now this video is running now. Look here, I have a flask. I have a flask here. Okay, and this is a funnel which is filled with the hydrogen peroxide. هو مليان بالهيدروجين peroxide. And when I open the tap, لما هفتح التاب, what happened? Look here, I can see bubbles. What about this bubble? This bubble is the oxygen gas. What happened here? We can see oxygen gas make a downward displacement of water. Look here كأنه بيعمل إزاحة سفلية للمية يعني بيزق المية لتحت. So we can say that oxygen gas replaces water. So I can say oxygen gas replaces water. So now I can collect this tube with oxygen gas by decomposition of what happened of the hydrogen peroxide gas that decompose in the presence of manganese dioxide powder to prepare oxygen gas. So now let us see this short video again. نشوف مرة تانية. Okay, again we can see this a very important video about how you can prepare oxygen gas. I have a flask like this, and I have a funnel. Look, here is a funnel. This funnel is filled with what? Is filled with hydrogen peroxide, and here is at the bottom, تحت هنا في الأسفل in the flask, there is a manganese dioxide powder which is a catalyst. هو عامل حفاز مهم جدا that increase the reaction without being changed، بدون ما بيتغير. Okay, what happens when I open the tap? The hydrogen peroxide will fall here and oxygen gas will go quickly. هو سريع جدا جدا في تحضيره فعلا. ايه اللي بيحصل؟ We can see، ممكن نشوف ان الاكسجين gas can make a downward displacement of water، بيعمل ازاحه سفليه للميه. And after a while I can collect oxygen gas cylinder or oxygen gas tube by this way. So I can say I can prepare oxygen gas by the decomposition of hydrogen peroxide material or hydrogen peroxide or oxygen water by in the presence of very important material which is the manganese dioxide powder. And I warn you please لما اجي اكتب منجنيز بليز لازم اكتب منجنيز بالحروف بالظبط، لان ممكن جدا يلخبطني ويكتب لي رايت رونج مثلا مغنيسيوم، لا هو اسمها منجنيز دايكسايد باودر. again اسمها منجنيز دايكسايد باودر مش magnesium dioxide. So again we have a very important way to prepare oxygen gas from the lab by this experiment. So again I can prepare oxygen gas by a very easy and simple way by decomposition تحلل of what? Of hydrogen peroxide or oxygen water solution into two substances which are oxygen and water in the presence of، في وجود مادة مهمة قوي اللي سميناها catalyst هي manganese dioxide powder. So now I can have oxygen gas and water will be in the flask. طبعا اكيد مش عايزين water، اكيد انا محتاج في الاكسبيرمنت ديت ان ازاي احضر oxygen gas. So I can see that by decomposition of hydrogen peroxide oxygen water in the presence of manganese dioxide powder between brackets as a catalyst. ليه هنا حطيت بين قوسين كلمة catalyst؟ لأن هو فعلا دوره عامل حفاز. Into what? Into water and the oxygen gas. So I can write an equation for that. ممكن أكتب معادلة اللي حصل. hydrogen peroxide مادة اسمها hydrogen peroxide أو مية الأكسجين or oxygen water it will decompose هتتحلل in the presence of، في وجود مين؟ في وجود مادة اسمها manganese dioxide powder اللي هي دورها هنا في التفاعل كأنها catalyst. عشان كده مش هكتبها بلس هيدروجين بروكسايد، يعني لو حد كتب هيدروجين بروكسايد بلس منجنيز دايكسايد باودر كده رونج. واي؟ لان المنجنيز دايكسايد باودر مش بيتفاعل، هو دوره كله ان هو كاتاليست. لكن ايه بقى الريزلت؟ ووتر بلس اوكسجين جاس، ووتر بلس اوكسجين جاس. So how can I prepare or how can I collect oxygen gas زي جمع الاكسجين؟ by downward displacement of water، بازاحه سفليه للميه. ناخد بالنا كويس قوي ان ممكن يبقى عندي في الامتحان ليبلنج للدايجرام، يعني ممكن يكون عندي احط الليبل او البيانات على الرسم، لكن مش مطلوب مني ارسم، مطلوب مني بس اعمل ليبلنج للدايجرام. So now I have a diagram for this. Okay, look here. I have a flask here, this flask, and also I have a funnel. And in this funnel there is a hydrogen peroxide solution or oxygen water, and another here, and I have a delivering tube يعني بقول توصيل أو connecting tube which is connected to the a very important basin of water or trough of water، ممكن أسميه كده trough of water يعني حوض بمية، and a very important inverted tube أنبوبة تانية مقلوبة that have water. So what happens when oxygen gas is collected? Oxygen gas is collected by downward displacement of water. So now I have a very important give reason، نقطة مهمة قوي تحديدا في الموضوع دوت، ازاي بجمع الأكسجين جاز مش ازاي بحضره. I can write this question. The question says that give reason. Oxygen gas is collected by downward displacement of water. يعني ليه بيتجمع بإزاحة سفلية المية؟ ليه هو بيزق المية لأسفل؟ يعني ليه بيطفح لتحت؟ يعني لأن في معلومة مهمة جدا قلناها، معلومة كيميائية مهمة جدا، because oxygen is scarcely dissolving in water. الأكسجين نادرا ما بيدوب في المية، مش بيحب المية. يعني ممكن نقول كده oxygen and water don't mix، الاثنين ما بيختلطوش مع بعض أبدا، أو oxygen is scarcely dissolving in water. عشان كده لما بيلاقي مية oxygen gas will force it downward هيتفحل تحت. So again how can we collect oxygen زي جمع الأكسجين by downward displacement of water because oxygen gas is scarcely dissolving in water. Again oxygen gas is scarcely dissolving in water. So I have now another question about this. This question is label the following diagram. سؤال مهم قوي ممكن يجيب لي diagram يقول لي label the diagram of preparing oxygen gas. So let me draw this quickly because I have no time. I'm sure we are finished up to now. Okay. So here I have a funnel like this, a tube. This tube is called connecting tube that is connected to the trough of water or the basin of water, and there is here an inverted tube filled with water. Look here, number 1, here number 2, and here is a very important substance which is a black powder, number 3, and number 4, what is it? Look here, number 1, what is it? Number 1, surely it will be the oxygen gas. هنا الغاز اللي اتحضر اللي هو oxygen gas which we prepared اللي حضرناه. Number 2 will be what? Number 2 will be hydrogen peroxide or oxygen water. Again, number 2 hydrogen peroxide or oxygen water. Number 2 here oxygen water, or I can say hydrogen peroxide, hydrogen peroxide. What about number 3? Number 3 which is the black powder. black powder او باودر اسود او مسحوق اسود مهم جدا في التحضير ده هنسميه منجنيز. وبليز ناخد بالنا من السبيلنج، منجنيز مش مغنيسيوم. منجنيز دايكسايد باودر، منجنيز دايكسايد باودر. again manganese dioxide powder. What about number 4? Number 4 is what? Number 4 here is the basin of water or trough of water, or I can write water. So again you are demanded انت مطلوب منك تعمل labeling للدياجرام لكن مش ترسم الدياجرام نفسه. again in primary 6 احنا مطلوب مننا نعمل labeling diagram لكن مش نرسم الدياجرام نفسه. So I can summarize what we have studied today. We have studied the atmospheric air, which is a mixture of gases that surrounding the earth. Also we have studied many important information about the atmospheric air. From that, the atmospheric air protects the earth from very important or very harmful radiation. أشعة ضارة جدا بتيجي من الشمس أو من outer space اسمها ultraviolet. الغلاف الجوي بيحمينا منها. By the ozone layer. Also, we have studied that atmospheric air adjusts the temperature of the Earth's surface. Also, we have studied the atmospheric air consists of many gases such as nitrogen gas, carbon dioxide, vapor, oxygen gas, helium, and so on. And the most abundant gas, أكتر غاز متوفر في الهواء already هو nitrogen gas, and also the second gas الغاز الثاني بعديها على طول أو في فرق كبير بينهم في الرقم بس هو number 2 هو oxygen gas which is 21% or 1/5. And today we have made an experiment. We have watched a short video about how can we measure the volume of oxygen gas زي اسم حجم الأكسجين by a very important video to show that oxygen gas occupies بيشغل 1/5 of the air volume or 21%. So let me draw this experiment again to remind you what we have studied. Look here, I have a basin of water and a lighted candle. Okay. And this lighted candle need what gas for respiration? Surely it will need oxygen gas. So if I inverted a cylinder over it, لو قلبت عليها اسطوانة, what happened? The candle will get weaker in flame and will turn off or put off after a while. هي هتطفي بعد فترة. Why? Because it will consume all the oxygen gas inside the cylinder. So what happened? The air inside here الهواء اللي هنا نقص قد ايه تقريبا؟ تقريبا هو نقص بحجم الاكسجين اللي استهلك. So it will decrease 1/5. So water will raise water هترتفع عشان تعوض نقص الهواء بنسبة قد ايه تقريبا؟ 1/5 or 1/5. So we can say that oxygen occupies about 1/5 or 21% of air volume. هنا نقطة مهمة جدا ممكن نغلط فيها. واحد يقول لي 1/5%. So it's wrong. يعني مش ممكن اكتب 1/5% ابدا. هي already 1/5 بس. لكن لو عايز اكتب percent هكتب 21%. 21%. That's right. لكن 1/5 or 21%. Approximately تقريبا بتساوي 21%. Okay, so we can say that oxygen occupies about 21% or 1/5 of the air volume. And also we have studied a very important experiment. I think it's from the most interesting and intelligent experiment we have studied this year. تجربة مهمة جدا وذكية جدا في نفس الوقت. ازاي نحضر oxygen gas so we can prepare oxygen gas by what? By decomposition of a very important substance which is the hydrogen peroxide. مادة مهمة قوي وسهلة جدا توفرها. It's available at pharmacy. هي متوفرة في الصيدليات. And I'm sure most of your houses contain hydrogen peroxide. أكيد في كتير قوي من بيوتنا فيها hydrogen peroxide. So we can prepare oxygen gas by decomposition تحلل أو تفكك hydrogen peroxide into two substances which are oxygen gas and water. Sorry. Again, it's decomposed to oxygen gas and water. هي بتتحلل عشان اسمها كده ميه اكسجين بتديني ميه واكسجين. Okay, so I can prepare oxygen gas in the presence of a very important catalyst. عامل حفاز مهم جدا سميناه منجنيز دايكسايد باودر. بأكد تاني اسمه منجنيز مش مغنيسيوم. Again, it's called manganese dioxide powder, not magnesium dioxide powder. And this substance is very important in preparation of oxygen gas because what? Because it increases the speed of the reaction. هي بتزود سرعة التفاعل بس لكن already هي مش بتخش التفاعل. So I can make a definition for the catalyst. What's meant by catalyst? I can write that. Catalyst is a chemical substance that increases the speed of the reaction يعني بتزود سرعة التفاعل. speed of the reaction بتزود سرعة التفاعل without بدون being changed بدون ما هي نفسها تتغير. Again, catalyst is what? Catalyst is a chemical substance that increases the speed of the reaction without being changed بدون ما هو نفسه يتغير. Or I can make another definition for the catalyst. تعريف تاني ممكن اقول له catalyst is a chemical substance that remains without change. تبقى بلا تغيير in its properties في خواصها and quantity وكميتها كمان. يعني for example لو دخلت الرياكشن ده 10 جرام of manganese dioxide powder بعد الرياكشن هلاقي برضه هم 10 جرام بس، هم 10 جرام بس، مش هيتغير خالص. على كده بستخدمهم مره واحده بس في الرياكشن ده because catalyst again remains without a change in the reaction or remains without a change in its properties and its quantity. So I can say catalyst is a chemical substance هو مادة كيميائية that remains without a change بيبقى بلا تغيير in its quantity يعني كميته and property وخواصه. يعني لو هو باودر هيطلع باودر، لو هو black هيطلع برضه black and the property after the reaction. So again, what's meant by catalyst? Catalyst again is a chemical substance that remained without a change in its quantity and the property after the reaction. So قلت أكتر مرة بنحب أول طالب الكرييتيف اللي بيكتب definition from his own mind من مخه هو شخصيا، من تفكيره هو او ابداعه هو الشخصي، لكن definition مش شرط يكون اسطمبه واحده انا حافظه زي ما هو من كتاب واحد. So again I am happy today to introduce this lesson to you. So by this point I'm afraid we have reached the end of this episode. So I promise you to meet again to complete the oxygen gas and the properties and uses of the oxygen gas next Thursday inshallah. Till we meet again, thank you and goodbye.